Bless the Lord, O my soul, bless it.
Hi, thanks for tuning in to our daily inspiration again. And as always, thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us. And hopefully it is going to be time well spent while you're here. And if it's not too much of a hassle, please do share this video on your social media to help spread the message to your friends and family. Anyway, what I'd like to do in this video is cover a rather popular subject that's often discussed among Christians, and it's going to be on the end times and the activities of the devil during this time period. So without wasting any more time, let me share you this clip, and hopefully you'll learn a lot from this one as well.
Now, that which distinguishes the late Roman Empire from its future revival under a New World Order is its having for the first time established dominion upon the entire earth, even to its ends. How? Through technology. Through technology. Technology in itself is not evil, but Satan will avail himself of it to try to convince the masses of a great diabolical lie that has been preserved for these end times and that will emerge soon. And that lie is that God did not create us, but other beings did from other worldly areas. Now, the original word in Greek for mark, John speaks of a mark, is charagma, which does not mean mark at all, but more forcefully, a strike that leaves an impression, like a brand in a cow, for example. It's a brand within the flesh. And this Luciferian mark that John speaks of may be impressed within the flesh of the right hand or forehead as a public declaration and will demand of those civilians who receive it customary public acts of worship. Acts of public worship will be directed toward an image that will be erected in honor of the one world conglomerate beast. St. John talks about this. And according to St. John, Satan will empower this image to come to life, as it were. Now, it won't have a literal life like we do, a conscience, a rationality, a volition, no. But aided by technology, artificial intelligence, for example, this is very plausible, not without the diabolical mechanizations, of course, in addition to technology. But in these short but dark days ahead, there will be little wiggle room for pusillanimous individuals who expect to receive this Luciferian mark solely to obtain material goods, to survive. Why? The one who receives the mark, St. John reveals, this mark of the beast, he calls it, have consented to idolatry. Idolatry and henceforth are targeted by God's angels for the day of the Lord, the day of wrath that will manifest itself quickly and with great violence. The book of Revelation reveals their fate. Chapter 16, verse 2. The first angel went and poured out his bowl on the earth. Festering and ugly sores broke out on those who had the mark of the beast or worshipped his image. Unquote. Now, those who have refused this mark, whatever it is, will be put to the test, but divine assistance will give them strength. This anti-Christian world government will force them, if they wish to worship openly, into hiding where they will pray and receive their sacraments from bishops, priests, clandestinely, or in cenacles. And God's angels will seal them on the forehead to protect them from his wrath. This is found in Revelation, chapter 7, verse 4 and 14, verse 1. A spiritual, divine seal will be imprinted on their foreheads. The foreheads of those that refuse the mark of the beast, to guard them and equip them to endure the seven trumpets. Now, this last kingdom of which I'm addressing will espouse a communist ideology to further Satan's plan to destroy God's church and stifle all promptings of the Holy Spirit in the souls of his children. This last kingdom will assuage humanity's desire for religion by delivering to the masses as opium an idol, a god, false god that appeals to all religions. By the working of diabolical wonders aided by technology, this final kingdom will mesmerize the masses and win over many. Yves St. John says, if it were possible, even the elect would be deceived. We will know that this kingdom is of Satan. Why? Because of its characteristics, which are, number one, removing the perpetual sacrifice of which Daniel and John spoke. The Eucharist will be halted, at least in public, for several years. Now, there's a period of 7 years mentioned in the book of Revelation as a period of tribulation, and the end part of it, the last 3.5 years, is the worst. And that's when the Eucharist will be abolished, and the public exercise of the papacy will be suppressed. The papacy will always exist, even underground, as it has at the time of the catacombs when the Christians were being martyred, but it won't be permitted in public. Satan wants all authority, and he will stop at nothing until he gets it. But God has foreseen that even though Satan will have his hour, God will have his day. There can be no resurrection without a crucifixion. There can be no Easter without a Good Friday. There can be no reign of God's will on earth without Satan having his will reign on earth. And we are living in those times. And the third characteristic of this evil conglomerate kingdom is it will replace with a false substitute religion this man of iniquity of which St. Paul speaks of in his second letter to the Thessalonians, the abomination of desolation, the man of lawlessness. He, hestekota, is a third person singular word in Greek, meaning he will sit himself. This is a male individual, often referred to as the Antichrist by the church fathers, will sit himself in the throne of God and declare himself God. Now, this is not the throne of the Vatican, no. This is a counterfeit church. It will most likely be a prominent parliament place, and he will proclaim himself God. This tyrannical rule imposed by this last kingdom will deny the resurrection and the divinity of Jesus Christ. So there are 5 characteristics right there. The removal of the Eucharist, of the public exercise of the papacy, even though the papacy will continue to exist. God will never leave his flock untended, but it will be under persecution. There will be this false, iniquitous, anti-Christian human male that will declare himself God. There will be who will deny the resurrection and the divinity of Christ. And the sixth characteristic, this kingdom and its anti-Christian male individual leader will change the church's sacred tradition. He won't change the church, no, but he will create a counterfeit black church. And this black counterfeit church, meaning dark, evil, sinister, won't have anything to do with the Catholic Church, because he will suppress the Catholic Church.
Well then, that will be all for the video this time. And as always, thank you so much for taking the time to be here with us. And hopefully all of you have learned so much from this video. And remember, if ever you have any feedback or suggestion, please let us know in the comments below. And from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for your continuous support, contributions, and prayers. And until the next one, thanks again for watching and may God bless you.